84% of adult Americans are single. 40 million Americans use online dating. There are 86 unmarried men for every 100 unmarried women. Those shocking numbers are just one obstacle Americans have in finding a mate. There are many obstacles in finding a partner in this day and age. Americans are getting busier as they add more activities to their plate. School and work take up most of the time for a young adult, as you guys might imagine. And single parents have almost no time to date as they try and raise their family all by themselves. But as humans, we desire companionship, and most will eventually desire a deeper relationship such as marriage. Despite the typical busy American schedule, online dating has allowed dating and romantic relationships to still continue. It has added a new level of convenience to romantic relationships, and I have seen 2 successful marriages come from online dating within my family. It has been said by Stephen Gina of PsychologyToday.com that most people prefer online dating because they have a better chance of getting a first date. People at bars tend to be focused on looks and attraction, which play an important role in finding a relationship, but when you're online, you can put your personality out there first, which I think is most important in the long run. For example, you might see your soulmate at the bar, but you might not be physically attracted to them right away, but given a chance to talk to them, you might actually find that you're in love with them. Sorry, he was waving at me. Online dating, most people agree that personality can make or break a person's looks. Online dating gives the opportunity to get to know someone without their physical looks getting in the way. Meeting online also reduces the chances of being humiliated in public. It typically is easier to say what you feel via email or text, and the same goes for receiving disappointing news. When you're rejected, you meaning the general public, not you guys, you would never be rejected. In public, it can be extremely embarrassing as opposed to just someone not responding to your message online or even saying it to you online, saying, hey, I'm not interested, and that's, far less embarrassing than someone laughing in your face. When you're rejected online, you can take it in a more dignified manner as well. Online dating allows individuals to meet people from around the country that they may not have ever had the opportunity to meet. When you're making your profile, you can choose to only be matched with people within a certain amount of miles around your house, but if that's not important to you, you might be able to meet people from Texas or Washington or Virginia if that's something that you're willing to work through. Online dating gives people a chance to reinvent themselves. Perhaps people had misconstrued conceptions about you in high school or college, and you desperately want people to see you in a different way. Creating your profile online allows people to choose which parts of their personality they want to emphasize. It can be a good and a bad thing. While it is nice that someone can reinvent himself or herself to allow people to get to know a different side, it can also be a bad thing. It's so easy to lie about who you are when creating an online profile. When deciding to meet your match from an online website, it can be quite a surprise when they're nothing like what they described in their profile. In some cases, it can be minor things like height or weight or even hair color. But what about big things like gender? I think that would be my biggest fear if I were to meet someone online that said they were a guy and show up and they're a girl. That'd be kind of weird. It can also be extremely dangerous when meeting someone because you have no idea what their intentions are. I'm pretty sure we've all heard some kind of movies or horror stories about something like that happening. Online dating may also be fast and convenient, and many argue that it's too fast. It takes the romance out of dating sometimes. Men are no longer required to pursue the woman that they're interested in. They have to rely on a website to find their match for them as opposed to compliments or flowers. From there, they're forced to decide whether or not they want to continue with a second date. Or from their first date, they're forced to decide whether they want to continue to a second date so quickly. They decide there's no spark right away. Perhaps it was because there was a lack of romance. There was no fun. There was no spark in it at all. With online dating, they're forced. It is so rushed, and the couple has almost no time to enjoy the romantic aspects of dating. With the speed of it all also comes a lack of trust. Trust is built with friendship and with time. Trust is extremely important in a relationship, and there is a possibility of losing time to build that trust. In my family, I have seen 2 successful marriages where they met online. Both used ChristianSingles.com, and they both met wonderful women. My one cousin, who's older, Tim, he has 2 daughters. They're both grown, and they were grown at the time, and he didn't spend his life trying to find a wife for them. He lived with his mom, and they were raised by their grandma, and it seemed to work out fine for them. But I think when he realized that his oldest daughter, or his youngest daughter, was about to graduate, that he wanted to find something that he could connect with and that he could spend the rest of his life with. So he went online, found someone who lived in Oregon, and they started talking. They got engaged in 2007 and got married in 2008, right after his youngest daughter graduated from high school. This is, here, let me see. May I turn off lights? This is him and his two daughters. They are his whole world, but he eventually found his wife, Deborah. They live in Oregon now, and he is absolutely in love with her, and they have so much fun together. My other cousin, Dave, he was from here originally. He went on Christian Singles after seeing how successful this was and met someone from Kentucky. They now live there, have a beautiful 1-year-old daughter, and they are living a very happy life. That's Dave and Jenna. There they are again. And that's him and their baby girl. So I think there's a lot of good things that can come from online dating. After studying the pros and cons, I see no problem with online dating as long as you're careful and safe. It is a serious decision that should be thought about with great care. It offers a lot of opportunities that going out to the bar, even to Starbucks, does not. It is always good to look at both sides of the situation before making a decision, especially like online dating. I hope that if you were thinking about creating an online dating profile, that this information has helped you, and if you had made up your mind one way or another about it, I hope it opened your mind to a new perspective.
Joel, what did you think?
I think the topic is pretty interesting. You grabbed people's attention just by the information you were giving out. The timing was pretty right on time. I think it was right about like at 7 minutes. And then I'm not sure how many sources did you have, but I only saw like 3, and I think that was the minimum, so that's okay. And then the PowerPoint, or I think he told us not to put that many words up there, more like pictures. I think that was pretty good overall.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot about the speech that I think works well. There are a couple of things that are a little problematic. First of all, I thought you had a really good attention device. You had examples and some statistics and some kind of startling statements there to get our attention, so I thought that worked well. We know what your specific purpose is and generally where you're heading. I think that the preview is there. It's not really highlighted per se. It's not noticeable, but we know that generally you're going to be looking at the pros and cons, and then you've got some personal experiences to share with us. So that's okay. I didn't hear any source citations. I'm sure there were some early on because you had a lot of that information, but in the rest of the speech, it seemed very much like this is your perspective on this, and I'm not sure that, in fact, there was extensive research on some of the pros and the cons that you're talking about. On the visual messages, I kind of agree with Joel. You know, it's a lot of words, and some things I think could be visualized a little bit better. I like the section where you had the pictures of your cousins who've had some success there. I think that that's a lot more interesting for people. You know, the list of the pros and the cons, for instance, it just ends up looking like a list, and most of the ideas aren't that complicated to start with. If it was a long time and you were going to talk about each of those in some detail and have some examples, maybe putting up a list would be a good idea. But it's not really that kind of content on that, so I don't think that you need to have those lists. I was a little worried at the beginning because there were a few places where you're doing a lot of reading, but the more you went, the more you